Uh, Very good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope everyone's had a good week. My name is Ross Strochen, and I'm sure everyone has seen the trailer of my upcoming podcast, the story, Flight of the Phoenix, the Ross Strochen story. And yeah, this is going to be an exciting journey where I'll be telling my story and hopefully engaging with other people that are going through the same thing. Because what we don't realize is that everyone's going through some form of depression and their own internal fight. But they put on this face every day. And obviously, you know, people are proud. They don't want to deal with their inner demons, and they just carry on. You know that old saying, "Suck it up, let's just carry on going." No, guys, you're allowed to say no. Enough's enough. I'm tired. So yeah, let me start off by giving you a small little intro. I'm going to start off with a quote in terms of the phoenix itself, which I find a very powerful creature that basically signifies everything about rising from being broken to being reborn. The quote goes like this: There's a silence that comes before collapse. A silence so loud it drowns out your own heartbeat. That's where I lived. Between duty and destruction, between the applause and the abyss. That is a quote that you need to remember, because you know we can put on our faces and go to work, but deep down inside we know that we're hurting, and we've got to come back and we've got to be the family man or the family mom. You know, it's hard. It's really hard to try and escape and just try and find yourself, because you are demanded 24/7 in this life. And it becomes consuming. So we've got to slow down. I wasn't always broken. In fact, for a long time, I thought I was unstoppable. I was the youngest in my family, a Laat Lammetjie, a late lamb, born 14 years after my sister, raised in Pietermaritzburg, in the shadow of legends and expectations. My father was a farmer from Swartberg, East Krugerland, played very good cricket in his day, captained SA Country Districts cricket, and just was a phenomenal man in his area. And obviously he went from strength to strength in his sports career, but in those days it wasn't professional. But yeah, he was is still my hero, and I speak to him every day, up in heaven. I had a calling early on to lead, to serve, to speak for the voiceless. It felt noble, purposeful, right. You know, I felt like I was putting out every other crisis just to escape my own, basically. Politics became my battleground. The city, my responsibility. Every street light, every pothole, every injustice. I carried it on my shoulders like it was mine to fix alone. I wore my commitment like a badge of honor. My underneath but deep down underneath, my soul was fraying thread by thread. I missed birthdays, I ignored warning signs, I numbed out completely. Everything dear to me started to collapse. But I kept smiling for the camera. I had to. That was my face, the politician face. This man that had to hold up, keep up with the Joneses, that old saying. My biggest rocks in my jar needed me, but I was always somewhere else. In a council chamber, in a meeting, in my mind, basically. Then came the moment I can never forget. A crash, literal and spiritual, an accident that nearly took my life, a breakdown that shattered every illusion I ever felt, burnout that left me in such a hollow that it is undescribable actually. Yeah, so in that moment, I saw clearly for the first time not just what I'd lost, but who I'd become. Gone was the man who could keep pretending. Gone was the hero complex. Gone was the version of Ross who sacrificed himself daily, and I say daily, 24/7, for a system that never loved him back. All that was left was ash. But it turns out that that's exactly where rebirth begins. From a wreckage to a mental and spiritual retreat, literally a mental and spiritual retreat, a safe haven of empowerment, I began the quiet journey back to myself. Ross, that little child inside of me, Ross, who everyone loved, all my friends loved. I was loved by so many and still am loved by so many, but I lost them. Not literally, but emotionally. There were no cameras, no microphones, just me. Raw, real, and ready to face the fire. I confronted the trauma, the grief, the anger. I looked in the mirror and stopped running. I had to stop running. It was there, in the stillness of rock bottom, that I met, excuse me, the phoenix inside of me. Not a perfect version of me, not a polished politician, but a man rising, scarred but sacred, from his own ruin, basically. This podcast isn't about what I've lost. It's about what I've found. And before I carry on, I want to say that in times of real struggle, someone up there, whoever you believe in, spiritually, religiously, has been showing you signs all your life, but you've ignored it. Some of us have accepted it. But there are signs, and he's there, and he's guiding all the time. But as I was saying, in this podcast, it isn't what we've lost. It's not about that. It's about what we've found, in fact. About a man who rose and still continues to rise and chooses to rise, not because he had to, but because he finally wanted to live. I finally want to live. I have to. There's no other option. I've been given a second chance And I've got a job to do. I've got a journey, my journey. And if you want to join me on my journey, you are most welcome, because it's a reckoning. I've been sent here as an instrument of the Lord, and I will carry out His message. Welcome to my story. This is Fly to the Phoenix, and this is only the beginning. Have a great day, guys.